Hey, it's your boy, Sergeant Hooked on Henshins. So we are talking about, of course, Revice episode 17 this week. Another banger superhero time this week. I think I was just super duper missing superhero time. So getting it back and the episodes being as great as they were for both shows, amazing. Thank you. So this is a really good episode. This has been a really good arc, honestly, so far since the defeat of the Dead Man's. Really, I mean, they didn't really destroy them, but I mean, destroying their base and them losing the Gifu statue and all that. So, beginning of it talks about how Aguilera and Julio are still on the run and they're running away from Oteka, and that they're still wanting to rebel against him, basically. And we shift also to Phoenix, where George Karazaki is talking to Hiromi about the gift statue and like what they should do with it, blah blah blah, and we should destroy it. And he's like, oh, I don't know. I still am not 100% sold on the fact that he's all the way good. I feel like there's maybe some underlying stuff still with George, but I don't know for sure. Especially because we introduce director Akira, something like that, Akashi or something. Who's like the head, like top of Phoenix, comes in and tells them that they still have not destroyed the Dead Man's. People are scared about it. The government's ordered them to be destroyed. Like, we need to do this, blah, blah, blah. And he walks into the lab and they go to leave, and George kind of looks at him kind of funny, like, kind of looking at him. And he sits there for like an uncomfortable amount of time focusing, and the camera lingers, focusing on him looking at the Gifu statue. So I'm guessing this director guy is also bad. I don't know for sure, but he doesn't give off a good vibe necessarily. And so we shift to Ikki, who's talking with his sister and with his brother about how he wants to be able to save the Dead Man's. That he thinks that because they are technically part human, he wants to find a way to separate them out from their demon. And talks George about it. George's like, all right, well, I have a connecting thing to your Buried Rex power up, Volcano Rex, that will hopefully give you that power without even having to use a rider kick to be able to do that. But you're going to have to train in this like simulation virtual reality thing to do it. And so he has them both transform, lay down, and he puts them to sleep and puts them under, and then they go into this like virtual reality, like cyberspace. And it's him and Vice and Vice says in his physical, he's like, oh look, you touch me, I'm physical, oh my god, I'm real, I'm solid. And they're fighting a like VR manifestation basically of Revi. And they're not even transformed in this VR space. It's just Ikki as a human, and then Vice as, his demon form, but not transformed at all. And the point is for them to get even more in sync, because the point of the Buried Rex the Volcano Rex thing, is that it's going to give basically all the Buried Rex stuff, ice stuff to Vice, and all the volcano things to Revi, or Ikki. And they need to be super in a super link with each other, like really good, like sync with each other for it to work, because of it being a remix genome thing or whatever. The other part of the episode is actually getting into Julio's backstory. There's a guy who comes up to Sakura and says, hey, is this that Phoenix Rehabilitation Center place that you guys are working with Phoenix? She's like, oh, yeah. He's like, you have to help me get to him. She goes, who? Him right there. She's like, oh, you mean Julio? He's like, no, his name's not Julio. His name's Tamaki Gao. So we get his backstory. He actually went to high school with Julio. And Julio apparently was like really into some kind of card game. It kind of looked like maybe it was something akin to like Yu-Gi-Oh or something. And didn't have a lot of friends, but except for this guy, right? And they got to be friends or whatever. And he at one point was like, here, you've been such a good friend to me. You've been protecting me, keeping me safe. You've been so nice to me. I want you to have this, my special card. And he gives it to him. But he'd been influenced by the other delinquents and jerks there that were already bullying Julio at the time. Well, Tamaki Gao at the time. And ends up ripping the card in half. And of course, he gets super embarrassed and upset about it. He sees everybody laughing at him and pointing and taking video. And Julio just runs out. And that's when he eventually was approached, found out about the Dead Man's, was approached by them and became a gift ex, right? So, interesting backstory with that. I didn't expect that for him. I always thought there was some kind of awkwardness to him that we didn't know about, but I like that it's something along the lines of like he used to be a wimp and now he's not type of a thing. And it kind of plays well into the whole thing with him and Aguilera, that like he clearly has a big, huge thing for her. But she doesn't like even give him the time of day that way. Like it's a friend of hers, but she doesn't see him romantically that way. And also his whole like always smile thing came from this bully guy that used to be his friend. So And I like how much we're involving Sakura in the plot. I really like that. It's Sakura and him going around trying to figure things out and her, understanding his story. And it's cool because it also gives a lot of pull to her and her character development, and that she can do just as much as her brothers. Because usually that would be Ikki doing that, but Ikki's busy and Daiji's doing Daiji Phoenix things. So, clearly she's left to kind of help out too. And I think that's really cool that they're letting her have such a big part of the plot. So far, they've written this female writer pretty well. I think they finally listened to us and they've given her a decent arc. I hope she gets a really decent looking power up and maybe even a final form. But still, I think so far Sakura's been pretty well written, and they've been doing a lot to showcase her and have her be a part of the episodes and be a pretty big part of the plot. I mean, she was there right with Revice Live and Demons to take down the dead man's base that time. That was a really cool, pivotal scene that I really liked. Funny how some seasons of Rider have like this random like episode, like 15 episodes in, that feels like a fucking finale, and we're not even anywhere near the end of it. But anyway, so we also see Oteka gathering some of their basically their cultists, their followers or whatever, and this lady who's like ready to sacrifice herself. So he takes the gift stamp, hits her with it. She transforms into a gift 2x or a gift man or something with gift in it. Anyway, so it's cool, the transformation thing for her, because all this energy swirls around her, and then she's like trapped in stone. Sorry about that. And she breaks out, and it's this new form of demon they have to fight. And Revi and Vice transform again, with Barry Rex and Vice getting the little shield. I like that now it just already automatically gives him forms the little shield instead of having to make it every time. So he fights and does a good job. They're doing their thing. While that's happening, though, Hiromi gets on the battlefield and he's helping as well. But we see another problem with the driver again. I'm finally getting something on this because this glitch is happening, the red electricity, and it's hurting him, whatever. And early in the episode, he's coughing a lot, and they're like, "You're sure?" He's like, I'm fine, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, "Oh, be careful out there." And so we see Oteko watching him, and he's like, he's the one, is he? And it's like, what are we doing with that? Like, I have a lot of things in my head, like maybe he is supposed to be, like, I have a feeling they're going to have some kind of plot line soon where there's going to be, like, basically Gifu, like host body arc, basically Gifu host arc, where there's going to be like 4 or 5 different people that could possibly be a host for him. I'm thinking one's going to be Hiromi. Somehow with the driver, I think that's just something it's doing or something like that. I also think there's something going on with the dad, with Genta, because he doesn't have a heart. I don't know what the hell that's about, and why no one's talked about that. No one's concerned about that at all. Is it making him into just more of a demon in general? Is it making him a possible substitute body for Gifu once Gifu fully revives? Like, there's a lot of things going on here. I don't necessarily want them to kill off Hiromi. I think that would be really annoying. Unlike a lot of people, I really enjoy his character arc so far. I like his pull from where he was as a general, then eventually now a commander, after the one died and he took over. His whole fighting with himself about this is all I've known all my life, how dare you do this, with the chameleon dead man and killing the original guy, and his existential crisis over that was really well written. And I just love the driver, and I love the suit too. So I guess they could do something where they have him, have the driver have multiple users or whatever, but it would just feel odd if someone else had it. That worked in some other seasons, kinda, but in this one I would kind of be upset if they did that, but who knows what they'll do. But yeah, there's something going on with the driver. So then eventually, Ikki and Vice, before this, and we get to this too, were doing their training and getting better at it and all that. Every now and then, Vice would get completely frozen solid, but Ikki would get caught on fire because of his side of the powers for Volcano Buried Rex or whatever. And they're doing their thing, and they finally get to a good point in their training, and then the alert comes that Oteka's doing his thing. So they're fighting as Buried Rex, and then he finally activates the form, right? So he turns the little fire thing on, and he connects it, puts it on, and basically gives him the fire, as you've seen it, the fiery, it was in the thumbnail if you want to look at that, the fire, aesthetic over the Buried Rex type stuff, and then most of the Buried Rex armor to Vice, and Vice gets an entire ice, so now it's like fire and ice, right? Like 2 separate sides that work together and blah, blah, blah. Like, really cool. And again, really honing in on this whole thing that they're really trying to push for of Vice, Ikki learning from Vice to be a bit more impulsive, to care a bit more about himself, and to not always think that it's got to be about everybody else. And Vice to also put that passion and energy and ferocity towards a good goal rather than trying to eat people. So I like that. It's given them both some really good development and developing their relationship together as well. And I really like that too. So they get into new form and they're able to defeat the monster, but there's no lady left afterwards. So they mentioned before that sorry, but when you use this stamp and you make a Giftarian, that is a Giftarian, it that the demon that comes out that becomes that, it consumes the person. So yeah, so now and Icky's thing now is that he wants to try to save the dead mans because he knows that they're all human. So he's trying to he's basically trying to work with Vice enough, get in sync enough that he'll be able to separate people out from their demons without having to destroy them with a rider kick or hit them with a rider kick, you know. But yeah, this episode was really good. There was a lot of really good action, really great choreography, especially with the Volcano Buried Rex fight. I think it's like an insert song that I think both Icky's actor and Vice's actor, unfortunately, were singing together. So I thought that was pretty cool that they involved the actors to sing their like insert songs and stuff. That was really cool. I love the development, a little bit of development stuff for Hiromi and / demons and what the demons driver is doing. Really like that we're getting a lot more on the Deadmans. This is the most I've cared about a villain faction in Rider for the longest time. It truly is. Like, I give a shit about Metro Gym Rat. I can give two dicks about fucking the Megaid and everything from Saber. There's a lot in Saber I couldn't, in my opinion. It doesn't matter if you don't feel that way. It's okay. But yeah, I really care about the Deadmans. I really like them as characters. I really enjoy them overall. I think they are really well developed, and I'm excited to see where they go with it. So yeah, I would definitely probably give this probably a strong 10 out of 10. There wasn't a whole lot I disliked. I would have liked to see a bit more with Sakura helping to fight a bit, just because I like the Kamen Rider Jean form in general. I do like the quick henshin we get with her. That was pretty cool too, her jumping in there and transforming and all that. And I like her being more involved with the plot and how well written she's been so far. And please, for the love of God, Toei, oh my God, just keep writing her competently. I don't know why. Write female writer competently challenge. Level impossible. Oh my God. Just please, it's not that difficult. Anyway, as we know from the stuff from the stage show of Saber. So, okay, and talk about this real quick. There's a little thing that came out that, okay, so in the original show of Saber, if you're not watched it, spoilers, but we have Reika and I think Reggie was his name, whatever her brother was. And there's this weird thing where like anybody that ever gets anywhere near her brother, she thinks is trying to take them away, and she gets all angry. Well, people were like, okay, stop with like the like brother-sister incest thing. That's weird. So I guess one of the writers of Saber was one of the writers on Ghost, and there was that whole thing with Makoto and like Kenon and it being weird in that one special. In the stage show, essentially one of the dialogue pieces from her translates to something along the lines of, "Oh brother, would you be wouldn't it be just great if you could well it would be just fine if you fell in love with me, wouldn't it?" And he like basically agrees or something. It was really weird, and I just need people need to stop that. Just stop, Toei. Think about things. It's not incest isn't funny. It's not funny. It never will be funny. And it's not okay, and nobody's like into it. It's weird. Just stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Anyway, so Revice was great this week, as was Zenkaiger. Let me know what you guys thought of Revice this week. Let me know in the comments below. Did you like it? Dislike it? Did you like the new form? How are you feeling about Hiromi, the dead man, the backstory for Yu-Gi-Oh player Julio? In general, what your thoughts are for where things are going for the rest of the season. Like I said, my last review for Zenkaiger, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be able to keep doing a ton more. There might be like a pause in content pretty soon because we're going to be moving pretty soon to a new house. I got to get internet set up and things packed or unpacked and whatever. So I do apologize ahead of time if that doesn't happen right away. But we're hoping to get things together in a way that makes sense and be able to hopefully still be able to put out content. But thank you guys so much for subscribing, liking, disliking, commenting, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for watching the video today. I appreciate you guys so much. Until next time, stay hooked on the henshins. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.